I wasn't gonna speak on this situation. Um, I gave my thoughts on it in my community on my community tab. You go look on the community side of my page. I gave a little paragraph about how I feel about the situation, and I wasn't gonna speak about the situation. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel as though it wasn't really nothing that serious. But as I you know sat back over the last few days since this picture resurfaced, and I hear the black the black people, um, with the exception of Stephen A, because I do like Stephen A response. I agree with Stephen A 100%. But majority of blacks, or pretty much all the blacks that I've heard, of course, the brain dead Jamil Hill, and the race hustlers, they made me speak on this situation, right? And the reason why I'm speaking on it, because not so much of this particular situation, but what does this situation say about black people? Not all, but most. It says that they very ungrateful, they very unforgiving, and not all, but most black people hate white people, and they look for any little reason to justify that hate. In some cases, or not in some cases, not only hate, quote unquote, reverse racism. They did it to us, yeah, thousands of years ago, 400, 500 years ago. Excuse me. And as of right now in America, I don't care about the past. I live for the present and the future. And as of today, whether you disagree or agree, if you're a truthful realist, you have no um option but to agree that black people, besides the LGBTQ community, are the most coddled, privileged people in America. You can't say nothing about them. You better not handle them wrong, because you be knee deep in litigation. You'll lose everything you work hard for. And I'm talking about, it don't even gotta be nothing that serious. Ask Dawn Imers. Call the girls nappy headed hoes. The hoes part is what I didn't agree with. But nappy head, hey, it is what it is. Paula Dean, something that she so said years ago or whatever, they ruined this woman's whole career. And it don't be about what these people did. It be about their hate, and they justifying it with, and they'll use, quote unquote, whatever the small situation is. So this is what brings me to the Jerry Jones situation. If you look in this picture, clearly Jerry Jones is not a part of that, right? For one, he's not a part of that. He's just clearly a adolescent looking in wonder of what's going on. But let's just say, for the sake of argument, that he was a part of that. He was a 14-year-old kid. This is 1957. This is before the civil rights movement. This is during the Jim Crow era. This is the world he was born into. It wasn't no, it wasn't, it well, of course, it always been liberal whites, but it wasn't too many liberal whites in the South. Jerry from Arkansas. So 9 times out of 10, Jerry's parent probably was, that was the time we was living in. That just was the way it is, right or wrong. That's not what we here to talk about, but that was the time. So let's just say Jerry was in the front of that. Let's just say he was in the front. Let's just say he was in the front of that. Let's Matter of fact, I'll go a step further. Let's take it a step further. Let's say Jerry would have had a white hood on his face in this picture. He's 14 years old. The man is 80 years old now. How many of y'all would like to be judged today for what y'all did when y'all was 14 or 15? I know I wouldn't. But that's not even the next that's not even the juice of this subject and why I made this video. It shows how ungrateful Jamel Hill comes out and said, with her brain dead, racist, full of hate self, oh, why are y'all surprised? This is who he was then, and that's who he is now. Why are y'all surprised? And they just jumped on it. Joy Reid, of course, Tiffany Cross, if she still had a show, I don't pay attention to her Twitter, but I'm sure she had something to say. Oh, all the race hustlers, all the people who capitalize on nothing burgers like this. First of all, for whoever dug this up and brought this to the surface, that probably was a white liberal, because that's the kind of stuff they do, right? But that's not what we talking about. We not talking about the white liberal today. We talking about this situation. Now, all the people that's running their mouths, like Jamel Hill, or I didn't hear Joy Reid say nothing about it, but I'm sure she did, and all the black people that's coming out, ask them what have they done for black people. Ask them. And I will guarantee you, not only have they have not done anything for black people, they probably don't even do nothing for their own family. We know how black people is. We could play that whole game where, oh well, listen, one thing about me, I don't know my flowers, but I know black people. And whenever we get some money or we get fame or we get positions in the world, the last thing we worry about is our family and our people. The first thing we do when we get some money is move away from our people. And when we get in these positions, I guarantee you, Joy Reid, Tiffany Cross, Jamel Hill, Ash, all these people, guess what? They assistants, probably white. All the people who are the main people in their cabinets, I guarantee you, is white people. Because of course they're black and they know how black people are. Not all, but most. So they deal with the white man. That's who paid them, the white man, the liberal white man, but still the white man. Yet Jerry, on the other hand, have given more black people not only an opportunity to feed their family, but create generational wealth than any one of them ever did and ever will. And I know what people gonna say, oh well, of course he is, because they black football players and they black people the best in sports. And so of course he gonna get them on his team. Okay, granted, I say this here. He still don't have to give them a shot. He can have a team full of white boys, number one. But okay, yeah, black people might be better at football than any other race, and that's why he give them a chance. But guess what? It's been plenty of situations where people came out. People love. Listen, Jerry players, Jerry, everybody that nobody you never heard nothing bad come out about Jerry. All his players love him and look at him as a father figure. Because a lot of these players, not a lot of them, but some of these players come up without a father, and Jerry be like their first father figure. This have been said. And not only that, his brothers, I can name on and on who the NFL had counted out. Whether it be from trouble, out from off the field issues, and Jerry out of all, when every other team wouldn't even give him a chance, Jerry did. Michael Irvin, Randy Gregory, Lyle Collins. I forgot that young man's name. He won 2 Super Bowls. He was a defensive player. Won 2 Super Bowls with the Cowboys in the '90s. Got in all kind of trouble. Ketty was getting in trouble, getting caught with weed. Jerry gave these dudes a chance. I'm actually, I hate the Cowboys. I hate them. I'm a Green Bay fan. I just don't like the Cowboys. But I always loved Jerry, and I always loved him because how he's so hands on with his players and how his players love him and how he give people a chance. When everybody count him out, he will give them a chance. I always loved that about Jerry. Rolando McClain. You know what I'm saying? And so for people to come out and accuse Jerry of racism over a picture that's 65 years old, it just says everything that and like I say, it says everything that you need to know about black people. And when people like me come out and speak about stuff like this, the first thing people will say, well, why are you saying something? You black. I don't care if I'm black. I love being black, and if I could die and change my color, I wouldn't. And I pray for the black community specific. I pray for my whole country, but I got a special prayer that I pray for black people. You know what I'm saying? But somebody got to speak on these situations because black people have been given everything. But now when you deal with the reparation situation, that's another argument. And people will say, well, we deserve reparation. I'm going to say this here. I agree that we do. But America don't owe us reparations. Africa owe us reparations for the simple fact that Africa sold us to the Arabs. And the Arabs knew that the white people was coming over here from Europe to make America, and they was looking for people to buy. And at that time, slavery was legal. They purchased slaves. They didn't go to Africa like a lot of people that don't know about history think that the white man went over there with a boat and said, "Hey, niggers, get on the boat." That's not what happened. It was a business deal, and they went purchase some people to come help build America. And so for that fact, but for the simple fact that Africans sold us, our own people, and Africa has a lot of wealth and natural resources. I think we deserve reparations, but from Africa, not America, right? But that's not here. That's not a video. I might dive into that in another video. But I just had to speak on this issue, man, about how black people you just can't make them happy. You just can't make them happy, man. I don't care who. But I seen that with the situation with Trump. Trump came in and did more for black people than any other president, and I spoke about that in my I think that was episode 8 on my channel. I spoke about all the things he did. Well, most of the stuff he did. It's a lot that I just didn't get. I didn't have readily available to read out. But just so much he did for the black community, more than anybody, especially Barack Obama, and people hated him. So and what it brings me to understand is it makes people say, forget it. Why try to please these people? Why try to please them, bro? Because there's nothing we can do for them to come out. I'm talking about, just like I say, even if Jared would have been a part of it, had a hood on his head and everything, Jared should have got a pass. Even if, but like I say, clearly in this picture you can see that he don't have nothing to do with it. But like I say, if he did, man, Jared been helping dudes and still helping dudes. They're gonna continue to help black people till he die. And guess what? We know all the people that's talking about him: Joy Reid and Jamel Hill, Big Mouth. Like I said, I don't want to put Joy Reid in because I didn't hear her say nothing, but I know 9 times out of 10 she did, because I know that's what they do. They find any kind of reason to show, hey, see how the white man is, see this, see that, see this. And like how I said, I want to give a shout out to Stephen A. Smith for standing up for Jared, man, because I didn't see a lot of other people stand up for him. Black, I didn't really look deep into it. But like from what I did see, I seen Jamel Hill, what she said, and it just sad because none of these people do nothing for black people, and that was one of my biggest issues with the George Floyd situation. People get so caught up in these things, and it just be a reason for them to showcase they hate and use reverse racism. That's all it be. Because let's be honest about it. Every black family got a George Floyd in their family. Let's just be honest about it. Let's not try to, act like every black family got a George Floyd in it. And we all know how black families treat the George Floyd of the family. Right? Now, did the George Floyd deserve to die? Of course not. And the person who killed him got what they deserve. But I'm just saying how all this public outrage come out and, oh, listen, man. That's like I tell people all the time. Stop bringing up slavery. Because guess what? You got family members that's living right now that you don't talk to because they think different than you, they look different than you, all kind of foolishness going in black families. And anybody black listen to this know that I'm not lying. But all of a sudden y'all care about y'all slave ancestors that y'all never even met, when you got family that's alive that you don't talk to for minor BS. So like all this hate toward white people need to stop. It's not gonna help the black people. It hasn't helped us. Right? That's why I always tell people the civil rights movement was the biggest mistake ever for the black community. And I got videos on my channel for you to go watch that. Or you can look in the description box of this video and click that link and all those videos will pop up. Because if you wouldn't have did the civil rights movement and blame the white man and force desegregation, eventually we was going to automatically everything was gonna work itself out. But anytime you force something, it's just not good. And what it did was it left black people in a victim mentality to the point to this day that anything go wrong when there's a white and a black person involved, it's always because the white man is racist. He been racist. This how he feel in his heart, and just all kind of foolishness. Do they have racist white people? Yes, they do. But I'm gonna be honest with you. In my 34 years of living, I have met more black racist people than I've met white. You know what I'm saying? And so I just wanted to bring this out, bro, because this situation says a lot about the black community. I'm talking about even players. Players should have been coming out saying, "Hold up, bro. I ain't got to let you talk about Jerry like that. Jerry made me who I am. Jerry made me a millionaire. Jerry made me who I am. Jerry got me with these businesses I got. Jerry gave me a shot when nobody else gave me a shot." But you don't hear them saying that because they scared of the you stand, you a coon, you a brute. So they'll suppress the truth because they scared to be called a name, and they grown ups. Like, I don't be caring, man. I get it all the time. You hate black people. You hate yourself, and you're always talking about your black people. Listen, man. First of all, we have to constructively criticize each other. Nobody else can't do it. Everybody else scared to do it because if they do it, they'll lose everything they got and possibly lose their life. So somebody got to do it, right? And the constructive criticism that black conservatives such as myself give, it don't even really all the time be constructive criticism. It's basically telling you to stop crying, stop blaming, and stop being a victim and do for self. And most importantly, stop using reverse racism and finding any of the thing to hate a white person for. You know what I'm saying? Like, people like, and this is something that some people just gonna go to their grave with. And like I say, it's being preached in some of the churches, so nobody is being really condemned for it. And you got the proud black conservatives, and we'll speak on it. But for the most part, nobody is saying nothing to the blacks. The so-called black leaders, the so-called black pastors, all they doing is telling the people of what the white man doing, what this person doing. They never telling blacks what they need to correct first. And if they correct what they need to correct first, you wouldn't have no problem with everything else because once again, everything would work itself out. But you so focused on what everybody else doing, you not focused on your own issues. You so focused on the police and police brutality that you not focused on y'all kill each other every day by the boatloads in the hood and in the womb. Black people lead in abortion. And so, you know, um, and I just, like I said, I just wanted to speak on that, man, because that just kind of had me kind of, like, damn, man. It's just like, is black people ever going to overcome? Is they ever going to get it together and stop blaming and be able to see something like that and say, so what? If Jerry was a part of it, like I say, if it surfaced that he was a part of the situation, man, look what Jerry did for black people. Look what he did. I don't want, like I said, I don't want to hear the argument of, oh, he only make them rich cause they play for him and they make him rich. Well, guess what? If that was the case, look at all these. If that was the case, look at all these black rich people in the world. They would be helping other black people then. If that's the case, if you're gonna say that, then why all these other black people, the first time they get some money, they move into the white people neighborhood instead of building a neighborhood with just them and black people in it and say, okay, look, this is gonna be the neighborhood where we stay at. Why when you go in Rock Nation, you don't see nobody black in Rock Nation when it was started by a black man? When you go in Young Money Sports, you don't see no white black people in there. You might see one black secretary, but for the most part, you're going to see white people and maybe one or two Hispanics. And these are black owned businesses. Why they hire white people? If you want to use the thing that, oh, Jerry just hired black because they the best, black's good at a lot of different stuff. And people still, and the black people get in power, the black celebrity, the black rapper, the black athlete, the black actors, and everybody that's in showbiz black. Why don't they get blacks to do the work for them? Since black's better than everybody else at everything. Let some of y'all tell it. They not just the best at football. They better than everybody at everything. But it's not gonna happen. You know why? Because they just not gonna deal with their people. Because most black people know that dealing with their people come with consequences. Staying around their people when they got money is consequences. That's why they move around the white folks. So shout out Jerry. We love you, Jerry. And we know you not racist, Jerry, because you done did more for the black community than Jamel Hill, Joy Reid. Man, I would take a step further. You might have did more for the black community than any black leader. John Lewis, any of them dudes. They never did nothing for black people, but made black people feel like victims. Jerry put money in your pockets, gave people, because of Jerry, a lot of mamas was moved out the hood. Because of Jerry, a lot of young black men created generational wealth in their 20s, 30s, and not some of them even in their 50s. Jerry did more for black people than Jamel Hill, Joy Reid, Tiffany Cross, Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, and Barack Obama. I can go on and on and on. So for black people to come dig this up, and not so much as black people, because if you ask me, my opinion is a white liberal digged it up and and put a black face on it and say, hey, look, man. And a black person took it and thought they was running a touchdown with it. But see, Jerry, one thing about Jerry that I like about him, he unapologetic. All Jerry said when they asked him about it was, I just was a kid looking to see what was going on. He didn't apologize and, oh, I'm so sorry. And then people even tried to bring up the situation with him. Oh yeah, that's somebody else said. I don't know who it was, but they said that's why Jerry didn't want that's why Jerry didn't want his players to kneel for the national anthem. No, Jerry didn't want his players to kneel for the national anthem because Dallas Cowboys is the richest organization in the United States. It's America's team. It's called America's team. And so you're not going to bring on my brand with no foolishness. Now, if you want to go on your social media, you want to wait till after the game and go inside the stadium and do that, that's fine. But while the game going on and for the national anthem, my players is going to stand. And I don't blame him. And if I was the owner of a team as a black man, I'd have did the same thing. Look, you can do your activism outside this game, but this is your job. This is work. You don't bring your feelings with religion. And everybody tell you religion and politics and all that, you leave that in your car in the parking lot. When you come in here to work and you clock on, you supposed to be working because you no longer represent yourself, you represent the company. So as you represent the Dallas Cowboy brand, of course you gonna stand for the national anthem because this is America's team. But they brought that up and used that as a reason. Yeah, we've been through race. They even had one guy say, I gotta admit, I never did like Jerry. Just all kind of stuff. And I was very angered by it because it just said to me that, man, because like I say, I always pray for black people, man. But it's like I'm losing hope because it's like some of them just hate white people, and I mean not all, but most of them hate white people. Any issue that they go with, wherever they go, is the white person's fault. They find any reason to showcase hate and use reverse racism, and this just was another day of the job. Oh, look what we found on Jerry. Come on, man. Once again, Jerry did more for black people than anybody I know. Jerry did more for black people and black families. I ain't gonna say than anybody I know, but I know he did more for black people and black families than anybody that's talking about him and calling him racist. And yeah, I'm gonna bring this I'm gonna bring this in right now. You know what I'm saying? But I just wanted to speak on that situation, man. But it's so crazy, man, how blacks is when it comes to using reverse racism and any reason to hate the white. The same white man who 9 times can sign their check and try to help them. White man ain't your problem, black people. Black people is your problem. I'm out.